Welcome to the Eye on Annapolis Local Business Spotlight. There are thousands of locally owned businesses in the area, some small and some large. Some you may know and others you don't. But one thing they all have in common is a great story, and we want to share it with you. Join us every Saturday as we talk to the founders, the owners, and the managers of local businesses you have come to know and love, and those you will come to know and love. Now here's your host, John Frenaye, with this week's Local Business Spotlight.
I don't think I've seen a better view at 8 o'clock in the morning than I have today, but we're up here at PYY Marine up in Pasadena with Mike Hatcher, who is a partner and heads up the business development for PYY Marine. How you doing, man?
I'm unbelievable. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Don't call me sir, man. Sir is old. He lives in Florida, and I'm not there yet.
Okay, I won't call you sir. Good morning.
Oh man, what a beautiful! I was before we started recording. I was saying that I hadn't been down in this section of Pasadena, and this is really beautiful. We're right here on Rock Creek.
Right. Yep. We're on Rock Creek, right off of Fort Smallwood Road.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that interested me when we touched base earlier, and we've been trying to get together, I think, for about a month now. You guys are not. I mean, I thought, okay, well, PYY Marine, okay, another boat dealer,
right?
But you guys are a lot more than that, man.
Right. Right. And I think that's kind of what was interest me on talking with you was. A lot of people don't realize what we are. We are a boat dealership. We sell Jupiter, we sell Cape Horn, we sell Yellowfin. We just picked up a brand new pontoon line called Premier. We're a Yamaha dealer, we're a Suzuki dealer, we're a Mercury dealer, we're a Garmin dealer, we're a JL Audio dealer. And, one of the things that's important to me is we want to make boating comfortable. The boat business is not easy. It's a big bear. Owning a boat is not easy.
It's an expensive bear.
It's an expensive bear. And, we want to make it easy. We want to do everything that we can to make boat ownership comfortable and easy. We partner ourselves with, superior brands to where they build a great product. I take a lot of pride in, making sure my staff's trained properly from a customer service perspective to a products perspective. We want our team to be very, very helpful across the board with the industry. So
owning a boat is, as you mentioned, I don't know, difficult's the word, but I mean, it's challenging, and certainly for a first-time boat owner. Once you get it, water, you get into it and you understand it. But, everything that goes wrong. I remember when I first got my boat, it was little things that would go wrong and how to figure it out. And it's not quite like a car. I mean, typically you're out boating, and it depends whether you're out in the ocean or in the Chesapeake Bay or any of the rivers that are around here. I mean, you're out there, and the best, something catastrophically goes wrong, the best thing you can do is throw an anchor down and wait for somebody to come save you.
I think that's the thing that, we try to do is, you're right, it's not easy if you don't have all the right resources. And one of the things that we like to do is, education, right? So I'm a boat owner, and I'm speaking from myself, from personal experience.
And I think I'm going to go out on a limb here, and you're a powerboat owner. You'd never own a sailboat, right?
I've never owned a sailboat. So, one of the things that I know is, I know everything sometimes, right? So, it's hard for me to let somebody else tell me how to run a boat better, right? So, the biggest thing that I can say is, our goal is to make boating easy and comfortable. I know this is a common thing that most divorces happen at the dock, right? We want to help our customers, like teach the husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case is, to where they both know how to react in a docking situation. And that's the goal, right? The goal is, people look at boating as expensive, right? And, if you make boating easy from a docking perspective, from when it breaks down offshore perspective, inshore, if you have the right resources and the right ways to handle it, it's not as bad, right? And that's kind of the goal with PYY is, we want to give customers the ultimate experience, right? We want to give them a boat that's going to, ride, perform comfortably. And then, unfortunately, things do break in the boating business. So like if something was to break, we want to be there for you to make that repair process as easy as possible.
Okay, so you guys are pretty much full service. Okay, if I'm looking to buy a boat from here, I can come to PYY Marine.
Right.
And you guys are at 1132 Pasadena Yacht Yard Road.
Correct. Yep.
So that's where the PYY comes from, I guess.
Right. So it's kind of funny, just to kind of tap on that. My business partner, Martin, when him and I decided to purchase the property, we didn't even have a name. Like, we didn't even know what we were going to call it. PYY, it does not stand for Pasadena Yacht Yard. But it was easy transition, right? Pasadena Yacht Yard, kind of the abbreviations, right? So, it was easy for us to transition from Pasadena Yacht Yard to PYY. And that's how it came into play. Like, it was never anything other than, what's the easiest way to transition from Pasadena Yacht Yard to PYY. So,
well, what are your capabilities? Okay, I can buy a boat.
Right.
Thankfully, I left my checkbook at home.
Right.
But I can purchase a boat.
Right.
Deliver it. You'll shine it all up and everything else, and I can head on out Rock Creek and have a nice life. But
right.
You mentioned about servicing and the maintenance stuff like that. I mean, you're a full service dealer.
Right. Yes. What we try to do is, we try to grow our business in the right direction, from a growth with customer perspective. And what I mean by that is, our main focus is all of our customers, right? A lot of people think that just because, we sell the Yellowfin, Cape Horn, Jupiters, and the Premier pontoon line, that we don't service other boats, but we do. We do work on regulators. We do work on Grady Whites. We do a lot of work for Boston Whalers. We service all boat brands. So the reason why I'm sharing that is, we want to make boating easy. So if you buy a boat from us, yes, our goal is to be able to offer you services where we can come to your house, pick the boat up, bring it back to PYY for winter storage. We want to make sure that all the rules and regulations of the water. So we do offer, training from a captain perspective. We do have a vessel safety check coming up, with the Coast Guard Auxiliary. From an outboard 4-stroke engine perspective, we like to be your one-stop shop.
That's awesome. You talked about winter storage and stuff like that, and you are a marina as well as a boat dealer. So we can, I'm presuming there's wet slips out there.
Yes, sir.
And I noticed when I was driving in the driveway, we've got plenty of dry slips there. I mean, so what are the services that the marina aspect of the business offers?
So from the marina aspect, we do have lifts, boat lifts. We do have in and out service. That's our limited services, I think, is the in and out, to where, a customer that wants to leave their boat on the hard, dry land, we would launch it for them on Friday, let it stay in the water on the weekend, and then pull it back out, because we have several customers that come from out of state that, don't want to leave it in the water,
Sure.
all week. And then, like I said, we do have boat lift slips up to 15,000 pounds. And then we do have winter storage, to where in the wintertime, we have 6 acres here, and we store
5.99 of it's filled with boats.
Right. So right now, believe it or not, it's probably about 40% full.
Wow.
So we have launched quite a few boats.
How many boats could you handle as far as a marina goes?
So I would say dry storage, land storage. I think we had 140 boats here, I believe, this past winter. We are doing some renovations. So that, there was at one time we had over 150. But we are doing some renovations. We just did a pretty big electric upgrade with BG&E, to where, we had to up our services so we could supply power to the lifts that we put in. So the lifts that we have are new.
Okay. And how many wet slips do you have?
Wet slips currently we have 43.
Oh, okay. That's sizable.
Yeah, so we actually downgraded our slips a little bit as far as capacity, and the reason being is we put a new bulkhead in. So when we put the new bulkhead in, there was a couple of slips that were just kind of in the wrong spot. So we are capable of over 50 slips, but we have not put them all.
They don't market
not yet, because like I said, we put a new bulkhead in. We just replaced one of our piers last year. And then we're working on getting the gas stock pier replaced. That's probably going to be in the fall.
What's more expensive, owning a boat or owning a marina with replacing the bulkheads?
Well, I think owning a marina is definitely not as expensive or is a lot more expensive than owning a boat.
Do you guys have any plans for expansion? I mean, you guys seem like you've taken the bull by the horns. Before we start recording, you said you came in here in 2015.
Right.
So you're looking at 6 years here. It's like, no, I guess it's COVID. That's my COVID 2 years.
Right. So this is going to be
you're going into your eighth
season. Yeah. So we purchased the property December 15th of 2015. And, I will tell you that, I have owned several other businesses, huge passion for the water. I mean, I grew up on the water. My nickname as a child was River Rat. So, I did, I got a lot of boating background, did not have any boat experience on the ownership side, meaning from a business standpoint. So I would say that we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about the business. When we purchased the property was owned by a family that's had it since day one. They built it by hand. So we've spent the last, 8 years now, kind of developing our brand. We are focused on 4-stroke outboards. We do have plans for expansion. One of the goals that we have currently is we want to find a way to build a bigger building to house our dealership side, to where we can have boats inside, in the winter months. One of the challenges that we go through right now is, we are at the mercy of Mother Nature. So it rains. There's some work that we can't do on the outside, especially this time of year with detailing and bottom paint. You can't really detail a boat in the rain. So, right now we do currently experience challenges with Mother Nature. Does push us back a little bit. So,
okay. You talked about detailing. So, that obviously when you sell a boat, you detail it,
right,
and everything else. But ongoing. that's part of.
Yeah. I think the thing that I like to tell customers is, if you get a good detail when you launch it in the spring, and then you do a good coat of wax mid-season. Your basic cleaning on a weekly basis, every other week basis, the boat's finish will last. A lot of people, because boating is, like we talked about earlier, it's a lot to learn. There are some people that, they'll purchase a boat, not realize that the things that are required from a boat ownership standpoint, if you don't detail it properly, you don't put a good coat of wax on it. Nowadays they have a product called ceramic coat that we also do. The gel coat will fade. You will get that luster, the
chalky, cracky kind of.
Right. And then, that's the last thing. You spend, really good money on these boats, and when it doesn't look as sexy as you did when you bought it, you do get a little upset from the investment you made. So
true. I've often heard that once you buy a boat, it's difficult to get out, and that it's difficult to keep the boat that you bought.
Right.
And about every 4 years, I heard you've got to go up about 4 or 5 feet. Is there any truth to that rumor?
So I will tell you that I call it 2-foot Titus. You always want 2 more feet. What I like to tell people is, that's the advantage of PYY. Like, one of the things that we like to do is like to put our customers in a position to where it's I hate using the word investment because it is an asset that can depreciate, but we want you to invest in the right brand, the right boat.
Well, you're investing in lifestyle with that.
Right. And that's what's important. So I can tell you that, the unfortunate part is COVID kind of screwed it, just made things different in the environment completely. So there were a lot of people that, in all brands aspect, they made money on their boats, believe it or not. They bought boats, and then, when the demand went higher than the supply, a lot of the used boat market went over top of the new boat market. So a lot of people, have experienced the plus side of it. But in a normal world, anytime that you have production, something that's mass produced and the supply is lower, it does depreciate. The brands that we sell, Jupiter, Cape Horn, Yellowfin, they're a semi-production hull. And what I mean by that is they don't mass produce them. So the good thing with those brands is, even before COVID, we were seeing customers that they weren't really losing a lot when they were upgrading. And that's something that even through the COVID times, we stayed laser focused on. We didn't take advantage of the market, meaning, we could have probably sold our boats for a lot more. But the way that I look at it is it's a long-term commitment from PYY standpoint and even a customer standpoint. Like, we have several customers from the new boat perspective that are repeat customers.
That's awesome. Well, and I imagine that if you come in and as a boat dealer, I'm sure you do sell pre-owned.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So, I can get into boating and I can purchase a small thing. I'm not quite sure how into boating I'm going to be.
Right.
And I can purchase a pre-owned, but then again, I can turn around and keep coming back, whether I go to another pre-owned or to another new boat or,
right.
And I imagine that with your full service, with the maintenance, with the repair, with the engine work and everything else that you've got with that it probably gives you a good leg up when you're selling a pre-owned,
right,
if you know the boat.
Right. And you're exactly right. One of the things that's kind of happening, it kind of happened in the real estate world a little bit where, you were seeing a lot of for sale by owners. And the reason why people were doing that is because the supply was lower than the demand. So a lot of people were, kind of taking the bull by the horns and selling their own, homes. It's kind of the same thing in the boat business. Like a lot of people do take advantage of, having the knowledge of the boat that they own, and they don't have to, use a dealership. So there's a service that's offered called boat brokerage, kind of like real estate, right? To where, we would represent like if somebody owned a boat from a buyer or seller standpoint, we would represent the customer to help them navigate through that process.
Do you have, relationships with other dealers to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things that's important to us is we want to be a value to the customer. We want to let that customer know that, our goal is to help you be a boat owner, right? It's not just to sell you something. It's not just to make a profit off of a maintenance or a service perspective. We want you to look at us as a resource. So we take a lot of pride in making sure that we have a good relationship with other dealers, manufacturers. We go above and beyond to try to have that good relationship, to have that value to our customer.
It's refreshing to hear a business talk about, we'll say, the long term with a customer. Right. I mean, I just heard a long time ago that you treat a customer like an annuity. Right. Absolutely. If you will, that, okay, fine. They're not buying the 240-foot, whatever $30 million yacht. Right. But they're starting out with a little 13-foot whaler. Right. Or whatever it may be. And that may be $100 or $200. But then by the time you add that into the next one and the next one and the next one, by the time you get to that 100 and some odd, $30 million yacht, it's a different story because you built that relationship and that annuity is starting to pay off for the business. Right.
And I think that's kind of the thing that, we focused on building the business is, it's a lifestyle, like you said. And the thing that's important to us is, we want to make sure that the customer gets the good fit for the lifestyle. Right. And the lifestyle is, it's awesome, right? I mean, water is, it's one of the main things in life that you need. You need to drink it in order to stay hydrated. Right. And just like you said, when you came here, I could have, this is no exaggeration because, this time of year, it's probably the most stressful time for us. In Maryland, it's a small season, right? In Maryland, we only have really 5, maybe 6 months of boating. So every customer that we just talked about, 140 plus, they want their boat at the same time. Right? Sure. So, we are humans. We're not robots. We can't control Mother Nature. So, we are up against the clock, right? And we do everything that we can to try to meet those needs. So I'm sharing that because it's a very stressful time of year, right? I hate disappointing customers. So, when we do not meet deadlines because of weather or because there's a time crunch, customers get frustrated. And I don't like that. And I don't like it because, I'm a boater and I know that frustration. So sharing all this because I could have the worst day in the world. I could have 10 customers yell at me and tell me how upset they are or frustrated. The second that I get on the boat and I run five seconds out, it's reset, right? And it's a complete reset of life. And that's what I love about boating, right? Like, anybody can buy a car, anybody can buy a house, and all that stuff is refreshing. It's a satisfaction thing, but boating, it just changes your life. Like it's an experience that not many things will do.
Is it challenging to find the right boat for the right person?
It's not easy. And I think the thing from a boat salesman standpoint, again, this is probably the wrong thing to say, but I wouldn't want to be a boat purchaser right now. And the reason being is, you go to a boat show or you go to a dealership and there's so many options, right? Like, do you want this custom color? Do you want that custom color? Like it's almost like mind blowing on what can happen. One of the things that we do is we don't necessarily get all customers. And the reason why I say that is there are certain customers that we're not a good fit for. There are certain brands that we have that might not be a perfect fit. So it's challenging. It is challenging to find the exact right boat for customers because there's so many options out there.
Well, I know, especially when you look into families and dynamics and, what they're looking to get out of it. Are they looking to ski? Are they looking to fish? Are they just looking to putz around the bay? Are they looking to, go to Hart Miller Island and drink all day or, whatever it may be? There's so many different variables. And then, I praise you guys or, anybody that's selling boats to be able to figure it out. Again, because it's it's an investment in a lifestyle. It's an investment in an asset. And it's,
And I think that's the thing that, there are some people that are pretty fortunate to have multiple boats, because there are so many different things that you can do on the water. Like you said, then like whether it's, a family day at the sandbar, whether it's a day fishing offshore, whether it's a day, tubing, wakeboarding, skiing, whether it's a day of just, cruising around the bay. There's many different things, and it is hard to find that one boat that'll check all those boxes. One of the things that I always say, and this is the challenge, because when you meet a customer, like, they don't know exactly who you are and what your goals are, right? But we try to evaluate the customer first. We try to, take some time and, just ask them, like, what kind of boats have you owned? What kind of boating do you do? If you were to make that perfect boat for yourself, if you were going to be a boat designer, how would you design that boat? And then you try to find a way to, like, navigate through that. And that's the advantage that we have on our used boat side or our brokerage side, is even though some of the brands that we sell on the news perspective, that customer might not be a good fit. That's when we get involved with, the used boat side or the brokerage side. So then that way we can start working on finding, something that's a brand that we don't sell new.
Okay. Are most of your customers new to boating, or second, third? Or it's hard to...
So I will tell you that the last 2 years, we'll go with 3 now because of, since COVID, it's just been weird. I would say that there's more new boat owners currently than there's ever been. And the reason being is, when everything got shut down, the only thing that was really available was recreation, right? So, camping, hunting, boating. Believe it or not, at first, boating was shut down. It was challenging for us, again, like, it was something that the whole world didn't experience, in my lifetime at least. And, we didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, it was a very big red flag when we were coming into this, because recreation is typically the first thing that goes, meaning from a customer standpoint, like,
Sure.
You get into a financial crunch, you don't focus on recreation.
You think about the boat, the RV, the vacation, whatever it may be.
Right.
Yeah.
It was the complete opposite. Like, that was everybody's main focus, was recreation. And, one of the things, that I can say is, it kind of hurt us a little bit. And it hurt us a little bit because, the boat brands that we sell, like I was saying earlier, they're not mass produced. So, we were having a hard time getting engines. So we had boats here that didn't have engines on them. Well, you can't sell a boat without an engine. Right. So, we did experience some challenges, and, and in all fairness, not saying that anyone else did or didn't do this, but we were still flexible with our customers, on the purchase side of it. Right. So, typically, like we were saying earlier, like, the supply, goes down, the demand goes up, you got to find a way to increase your margins from a profitability standpoint. And we stuck to our guns through it. We were still able to save our customers, through COVID on a savings perspective. So I think right now there's probably more new boat owners than there is previous owners.
But interesting. I was looking at your website, and you also, again, the website is PYYMarine.com. Pretty simple.
Yep.
And you've got PYY Fishing.
Right.
What's that all about?
So, the brands that we sell, they are center console fishing boats, mostly. And, one of the things that we're a big believer in is, we don't want to just sell you something. We want to give you firsthand experience. So when we picked up the Cape Horn brand, we decided that we were going to have a fishing team to actually use that boat. So that way, when a customer comes in, we can tell them exactly how it performs, the good, the bad, the ugly, how many fish it does or doesn't catch, right?
Because we all know boats are the ones that catch the fish, right?
Right. So, I can tell you that, our general manager here, his name is Steve Wagner. He is the captain of our fishing team. He's also the general manager here. And the 36 Cape Horn that we currently fish, PYY Fishing, he knows that boat inside and out. He can tell you every nut, bolt. He can tell you how it handles in a quartering sea, following sea, head sea, fuel burn. And that's what makes us different, right? So we also have, me personally, I own a 36 yellowfin. And the advantage to that is I can tell you, well, let me back up. My goal is to be able to tell you every little ins and outs of that boat. I just purchased this boat, so I do know the brand, but I haven't had a ton of hours on a 36 yellowfin. And then my business partner, he actually has purchased a 43 Jupiter, kind of the same thing. Like, we want to be able to, give our customers that firsthand experience from a boat owner's standpoint. And then we also want to offer, demo rides to where, we can take a customer out. Going back to our fishing team, they've been around a little bit. They've won the White Marlin Open, in the small boat division. They've won several tournaments. They put the time in to get to where they are right now. So
good deal. What's your, you've got a brand new 36 Yellowfin. So that's your current dream. What's your dream boat?
This will probably either bore you or you're going to laugh at me. I don't have one. And the 36 Yellowfin was my dream boat. That is one of the main reasons why we got in the business. We purchased PYY in 2015. In 2016, in January, I called Yellowfin and I said, because in my opinion, like the 36 Yellowfin has beautiful lines, performs well. It's an all around great boat, in my opinion. And so, like I said, in January, I called the owner of Yellowfin, told him I wanted to be a Yellowfin dealer, and he laughed at me. And he was like, you've only been a marina owner for a month. And, the Yellowfin brand, it's the Ferrari of the water. It's a very, very good performing hull. A lot of fishing tournament guys, have that boat because it's typically, one of the first boats to the fishing grounds. So it's, performs well. So fast forward, we became a Yellowfin dealer. I think this is our third season. So 2019, maybe 20.
Okay.
And Yellowfin, to this day, it's over a year backlog. So if you were to say to me, hey, I have my checkbook, I'm going to write you a check for Yellowfin.
Right. I'm only writing it for $1,000 and
Right. I can tell you that right now, currently, it's over a 2-year wait.
Where's your boating experience? Has it always been on the Chesapeake Bay and in the near Atlantic, I guess, or?
So I've done quite a few. I've done a good bit of boating in Florida. I was actually just in Florida last week. I spent some time in the Jupiter area, ran the intercoastal.
Sailfish?
Sailfish Marina. And, I didn't do any fishing. It was just, riding around. I have been in the Bahamas, on the water. I've been fishing in the Bahamas. Virginia Beach, I've been around. Ocean City, we do a lot of stuff in Ocean City. Predominantly mid-Atlantic, I would say, as far as the max amount of hours. But, I have been trying to spread my props a little bit, I guess you could say, to get around.
I guess. Well, I'll tell you, what you've got up here is wonderful. I mean, you've got a lot of advantages. And I don't mean to diss Annapolis or stuff like that, because there's some convenience and everything else that's down there. But there's plenty of parking up here.
Right.
You're not paying for it.
Right.
You're not hunting for a spot on the street or anything like that.
Right.
And I imagine probably if you're looking to keep a boat up here, it's probably a little bit less expensive than you are down in, one of the marinas down in Annapolis in the city.
Right.
You've got just as much access to the bay, closer to Baltimore,
right,
the northern end of the bay, certainly.
One of the things that I like to say is, I don't really focus on price comparison, meaning like, I always like to focus on, what we offer. So, I would say that we're a very, very cost-effective opportunity. And what I mean by that is, we do focus on all the right things, not saying that anybody in Annapolis or Severna Park doesn't, but we just have a lot of things that we can offer because it's a big platform, right? There's not many outside of Bert Jabin's. There's not a whole lot of dealers in Annapolis that have the platform. The advantage that we have is we own it all, right? And what I mean by that is, we own the marina, we own the dealership. We want to be able to give you that ultimate experience. Where we're located it's pretty central, right? So, we can be to Annapolis in, less than 20. We can be to Baltimore in less than 20. We can be in Rock Hall in less than 15. You have a lot of boating that's pretty great over in the Middle River area. I can hit the C&D Canal, which is less than 45 minutes away. So we're pretty well located, from a navigability standpoint. And there's a lot to offer. This is kind of crazy to say this, but if you look at the Severn River, which is where I grew up on, and I love the river. Outside of downtown Annapolis, there's only one restaurant on the water there. Am I missing anything else? The Severn?
You get a couple. We got Carroll's Creek, you got Chop Tank in the Ego Alley now. That's new.
Right.
Chart House.
Right.
You got Severn Inn.
Yep, Severn Inn.
Which is down there. Go around the corner. You got Sam's Waterfront. It's now called the Beacon.
Yeah, so we do a thing called Waterfront Wednesday. And for Waterfront Wednesday, we go to restaurant on the water every Wednesday. We bring our boats. We were just at Beacon.
Is that a PYY initiative?
It's a PYY initiative. And you know what I was saying, and maybe I said the wrong way. Like, you know, I know like in the downtown area, there's a lot of restaurants there. We were trying to find a place to do Waterfront Wednesday on, and outside of like Carroll's Creek, the downtown area, the Severn Inn was the only one that we could find. However, like if you go over to like the Middle River,
they're everywhere.
It's insane.
Nook and cranny.
It's like boater's paradise over there, right? There's all kinds of waterfront restaurants.
Crazy Tuna's up that way.
Crazy Tuna, yeah. Crazy Tuna. Then you have, so it used to be called Riverside. Now it's Looney's Riverside. Looney's bought.
Yep. Well, even like as you said you can be in Rock Hall, and you said
I think from here. Well, again, it depends on your boat.
Right. It's
right. So
on your power.
Yeah.
But,
so I think from here to Rock Hall, I would say under 20.
I mean, there's a number of good restaurants that are right on there as well. In Chestertown, that's not too far from there as well that you can get up into, and it's.
I mean, as you can tell, I just love boating, right? Everything about boating, like I said, you know, every Wednesday, you know, we're at some restaurant. This Wednesday, we're going to Red Eye's Dock Bar.
Okay.
You know, last Wednesday we called it our sea trial at Beacon, which by the way was an awesome place.
Right.
But you know, our opening day is going to be this Wednesday
at Red Eyes. Very cool. I've always sort of been surprised that, and I don't like crabs, that Annapolis does not have. I mean, Cantlers and Mike's are the only two choices for a true crab house in Annapolis. I'm like, really?
Right.
You know,
I agree with you. I think it's pretty interesting. There's not a lot of crab houses on the water. You have Mike's, which does crabs. We have one right north and
right.
But there's not a lot. I think Harris's maybe that they do crabs, and then Crab Deck maybe over there in Eastern Shore.
Yep. You've got to go down there, or maybe go down into Deal or something like that.
Right.
Pick up a couple, but not too many. Not too many. One thing that you've mentioned a couple different times, you're working with the Premier Pontoon, and you said that's a new brand for you. Is that a thing?
You know, it's funny.
I mean, I know what they are, and I just have never seen a preponderance of pontoons, where it's a tough word to say, in this area. Harrisburg up on the Susquehanna, I mean, you could walk across the pontoon bridge to get across the river.
So I'll tell a good story. I like telling stories, obviously. You know, so we have a place in Ocean City, West Ocean City, and we were in the process of buying a boat for down there. Let me back up. We used to live in Ocean City, and you know, we never had a place on the water. We never had a this is, you know, my family. We never had a boat down there. So my better half, she was trying to talk me into buying a pontoon. And back then I was like, I don't want a pontoon.
Yeah, you're kidding me?
That's like a station wagon, right? So, you know, I got my way, fortunately, at the time. We ended up buying a center console. And as bad as I'm going to admit this on the air, she was right. You know, one of the things that, you know, I wanted a twin engine boat, needed to have a bathroom. I needed to have all the bells and whistles for, you know, this boating that I want to do in Ocean City, and the wrong fit for what we were doing. You know, it's where we're going back to the whole fit thing of customers. And so fast forward, she ended up talking me into getting a pontoon. We purchased a pontoon. We took the center console we had, we brought it back to Pasadena. The best purchase I've ever made. You know, the Ocean City market for boating, a lot of shallow areas, a lot of sandbars. So
and they draw what, like 3 inches?
Not even. So it gave me a whole different boating experience. And what I mean by that is, like, we used it more. We were doing a lot more things, you know, just because of the boating. Fast forward, the pontoon industry has like blown up. You know, now you have tri-toons to where you don't have just 2 pontoons, you have 3. They're talking about quad toons to where you have 4. And the advantage of that is it gives you the stability, right? So, you know, the V-bottom center consoles, or even a flat bottom center console, they still draw a good bit of water. The pontoon, like you said, I mean, it's less than 6 inches. Another good friend of mine, he bought a pontoon boat, and he was running around in the bay, and he called me one day. He's like, "Hey, Mike, this was last year." And he was like, you know, "I want you to, you know, go to the over to Hard Yacht with me." I'm like, "All right, cool." So we get to his house, and he has 2 boats, and he's lowering the pontoon. And I was like, man, are we really going on that? It's kind of windy out. He's like, oh, we'll be fine. I was a little nervous because pontoons aren't known for, rough water. So we get in the boat, we start running across the bay, not one drop in the boat. The ride was completely fine. I was literally blown away. And that's what got me aggressively searching to become a pontoon dealer, because like they're a game changer. I can say that I give it another 2 to 3 years and you will see a lot more pontoons in this market. It's getting aggressive now, but they're cost effective. You can get into a pontoon, reasonably priced. You can do a single engine, twin engine. You can do a fishing version of a pontoon. You can do a cruising version of a pontoon. It makes your first boat buy a little easier because like you can get into the pontoon and do what you want.
If you just want to paddle around and, see bird watch or fish or whatever you want to do.
Right. And I mean, and the crazy thing is, there are disadvantages to a pontoon. However, I think the advantages currently definitely outweigh the disadvantages. The disadvantages, they're very minimal in the pontoon business right now.
Mm-hmm. Do they trailer as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The law in Maryland is anything under 8.6 is legal to trailer.
Okay.
Most pontoons
That's
are
beam, right?
Beam, correct. Yep. So it makes boating easy. It's definitely changing the industry a little bit.
And I imagine they've changed a lot. I haven't seen picturing the old aluminum tubes.
Yeah, oh yeah,
with like the trampoline in the middle.
Yeah, and the thing that's unfortunate, going back to not wanting to be a customer, looking to buy a boat. There's a lot of pontoon brands out there. I don't know them all. I do know that there's a lot. And one of the things that when we were looking to pick up a boat line is it's important to me is, I want a partnership, right? Like being a sale from a boat manufacturer standpoint to a boat dealer standpoint, that wasn't my goal. I wanted to be a partner. And it's the same thing from a customer's perspective. Like, we don't want to just sell you a boat. We want to be your boating partner. We want to do everything that we can to be side by side with you for your boat ownership experience. I go after that same exact thing from the manufacturer standpoint. I want that manufacturer to be side by side with me as a dealer, right? So I want to be able to make that phone call and find out how to get this warranted. I want to be able to make that phone call and find out how this is designed and built. Premier, they're doing an excellent job with that.
Where are they made?
I don't know the exact name of the factory. They are in Midwest. And, Premier was family owned through, I'm going to probably screw this up. I think through 2010 maybe. And then now they are corporate owned, and they're kind of redeveloping the brand a little bit. And they've been doing a phenomenal job with, helping us with marketing, great communication, great ordering process, training so far. It took us about 1.5 years to become a dealer. And to me, that's what's important to me. Just calling up and becoming a entry-level pontoon, that wasn't our goal. Our goal was to, partner with, a Premier.
I think that speaks to PYY as well. I mean, you fought for years to become a yellowfin dealer.
Right.
You saw what you wanted, you went after it, and you had the tenacity to go and get it, and it's obviously paying off for you as well as for yellowfin.
Right. And,
you may not have the numbers just right yet for Premier Pontoon, but you targeted them and you went after them, which is
And I think that's we have a lot of things that are developing at PYY. And like I said, like it's important to me to have the partnership. As of right now, we do service and sell, different engine manufacturers. Going back to going after something that is changing at PYY, we are going to be a authorized direct Mercury dealer. So one of the things that was important to me is, innovation, right? Innovation, technology. We were talking about long-term, the annuity perspective. Mercury is investing a lot of money in the marine business. They're owned by Brunswick, which is a huge corporation. Their Mercury division is insane. We're still a Yamaha dealer. We're still a Suzuki dealer, but, we are trying to go to that next step with Mercury because we want to continue to develop and innovate, at PYY as well. So
interesting. Do you see electric coming to boats at all?
It's here.
I've seen them in the boat shows and stuff like that. I mean, is it going to be a thing?
Right. I mean, I think for me, I'm not saying that I am or not an electric guy. I'm just not sold on it yet. And the reason why I say that is like I have a hard time wrapping my head around electricity and water.
Valid.
Right. So like, I just like it's hard. And I look at like, and again, I'm not an engineer. This is just me chatting. Right. Like if you look at a boat, I mean, it's constant drag. Right. So like, with a car or anything else that's moving, when you have wheels, right, you can take a car, you can push it, and centrifugal force will start
taking it for a long.
Boat's the opposite.
No hills in the bay.
Right. So you push a boat, it stops, right? Like there's because of the water is resistant. So, the battery technology, that's an uphill battle, I think. Because you need a tremendous amount of torque to be able to keep a boat moving. So I hope it works. I think that, having the innovation like that is great. Like right now, the thing that's, pretty big, is electric docking. And what I mean by electric docking is, a lot of these newer boats, they have electric steering, full electric. And, so we were talking about my boat, the 36 Yellowfin, it has JPO steering, which is, joystick pilot operation, which is owned by Mercury.
Video game.
It's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. And with it having the electric steering, like I was talking about it yesterday, like I was blown away on how precise that boat is. One of the things that I tell customers is I can get anyone to dock a boat with electric steering in less than a day.
Docking was always tough, man. With my boat, it was like, okay, so what do we do when we get the docks? We sit down, we shut up and get out of Dad's way.
Absolutely right. Well, that's what I was saying earlier about like most divorces happen at the docks, right? There's shirts that they make because of it. But I mean, it is. And I think that's the thing, like what I always tell our customers, and it doesn't happen this way because everybody gets excited about a new boat ownership, is if I had a perfect way to experience, if I had a perfect way to show a customer how to purchase a boat, what I would encourage them is, you buy the boat the first day, couple hours, the captain of the boat, majority, whoever the captain of the boat is mainly, and my sales guy or one of my sales team, spend about 30 minutes on the boat or 45 minutes.
Sea trials.
Show you how to use the boat, right? And then spend another day with the captain of the boat and the first mate, whether it's the husband, wife's husband, whatever. And let us show the mate on how to react in a docking situation or how to react, because that's the thing. Like when things go smooth, it's easy.
Right.
But when things don't, we all react in the wrong way. So like if someone would take our advice, we have customers that do that, and let us go through that experience, it'll change the game in your boat ownership.
We work with Annapolis Subaru down in Annapolis, and what they do is when they sell a car, they obviously go through and very similar to, you get your salesperson out and teach you how to work. But they say, going back here in about a month, 6 weeks, we have a guy that's dedicated just to go over, because I mean, you're going to find a little button that you like, what did he say that works, or what does that do? And everything else. So when you have somebody on your side like that, that's willing to be able to do that is phenomenal from a boat ownership point of view.
And that's our goal. Like I said, like water's awesome, right? Like, I mean, it's a huge resource that we have in our backyard, and, the window is limited, but it's life-changing. Like I can tell you that, most comforting experiences come from water. And, being on a boat, being uneducated on the boat, buying a boat that you paid the wrong amount of money for the boating that you're doing, that's nerve-wracking, right? So, we want to try to give you that experience to where, you invest in the lifestyle to where, you can enjoy it. And not only just you, your whole family, your friends, your neighbors, business partners. I don't know how many boats that I've sold being on a boat, because it's a comforting feeling. You know what I mean? So
it's not a hard sale.
It's not a hard sale. The investment is, it can be a challenge, because that is it's big money, right? Nowadays, I mean, you can spend, some people are spending more on their boats than they did their houses. You got to have that good experience.
Well, with all the brands that you represent, I mean, what's your size range?
So we go all the way down. Now, like I said, the pontoon business is new to us, so I'm kind of leaving them on the side for right now.
And that's like in the 14, 15?
I think the pontoons go down to 20 foot. Up to, I mean, we have one that's 33 feet. So, the center console world, the Yellowfin brand is 17 feet, up to 54. So they go from.
So you personally have some room to grow.
I do have room to grow. And then the Cape Horn brand, they start at 22, And production-wise, they go up to 39. They do have some other models that they're working on a little bigger than that. And then the Jupiter brand, currently they are manufacturing 30 feet up to 43 feet. That is the current production for Jupiter.
So as far as size goes, I mean, you've got pretty much everything to cover.
Right. And I mean, even the same thing, like, right now it's a little bit of disorganized, but, all the boats you see out front here, they are for sale. Like, we have a good bit of inventory. We were able to hold a decent amount of inventory through COVID. One of the things that I like to do, and COVID kind of made me a little bit more stringent or strict on it, is we like to hold boats through our boat show season. So we have boat shows to display. Our last boat show was 2 weekends ago. And I am in the position to get rid of some of these boats. There are some rebates that we have in place for, the current year model. There are some incentives that the manufacturers are doing from an engine perspective, a boat perspective. So it's not too late to get on the water.
Okay, you talked about that. Do you do financing too? I mean, obviously you don't do financing, but I mean, you've got partners with to be able to finance. I mean, most people, I imagine, don't come in and drop 120.
Right.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Right. It's again, going back to what I was saying, is we want to make boat buying easy, right? Boat ownership easy. And, we do have a couple different lenders that we use. We have a broker that we use, for our financing. And then we do a little bit of bank direct stuff. So, we have financing options. And what I typically like to do is, evaluate the customer, right? Like, everybody's credit situation is different. Everybody's financial portfolio is different. So we have different lenders to kind of customize that, right? So, self-employed, a little bit more paperwork when you're self-employed. So, we have lenders that specifically focus on self-employed. We have ones that are just, regular, W-2 employees. We have banks that work on focuses. So we have options for sure.
Full service. Come on into PYY Marine. It's at 1132 Pasadena Yacht Yard Road, but you don't really need that address. You just find Pasadena Yacht Yard Road and just go to the end.
Go to the end, yeah.
If you find yourself in the water, you've gone just a little bit too far. But a wonderful marina, a wonderful boat dealership, both for brokerage as far as new and pretty much anything you want. I mean, you're looking for a partnership. Want to come see Mike and his team?
Yep.
Again, PYYMarine.com is the website. And again, Pasadena Yacht Yard Road in Pasadena. That's a mouthful, too.
It is. That's kind of how we shortened it, right? With PYY Marine is a little easier. And, our slogan is YPYY, right? We always say that, so.
That sounds like a radio station.
It does. It does sound like a radio station.
Hey, Mike, thank you so much for your time today. And congratulations on the growth of the business and the success that you've seen and many more.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to this week's Local Business Spotlight. Please make sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinion. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you all the day's local news direct to your phone, tablet, or computer in about 10 minutes. It comes to you at 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.